Hello to anybody out there. Let's have a look. Cool. So today I have a lovely guest with me. I have Esme from Bean and Bloom. But before I introduce her, I will just say a little bit about who I am in case you don't know me, and then introduce her properly. So I am Emily. I am an astrologer. I'm an intuitive tarot card reader and a moon lover. So hello and welcome if you're out there and watching us, or if you watch us later, thank you. And let's introduce my lovely guest. So where are my notes? It's always good to have notes. You never know when you might need them.
Always come prepared.
We have someone joining. Thank you. So Esme's from Bean and Bloom. And as we are in Cancer season, what better way to make beautiful changes in our lives than to talk about sustainability? The sign of Cancer is the mother figure leading into nurturing emotion. And what is emotion? It's energy in motion. So let's talk about Esme. So Esme loves creative hobbies and is a stationery addict. So it was only a matter of time, of course, before she turned that into a business. So designing and creating stationery, not just being an addict.
Funding my own addict.
So she's also passionate about living a climate conscious life. So that's you. So tell me a little bit about your sort of first experiences and memories of creative hobbies, shall we say?
Mm-hmm. So my dad is a graphic designer. That's his job. So he's very artistic. And he brought me and my sister up just sort of getting stuck in with anything really, like paints, crayons. We had these like paints that you could use in the bath, so you could get them everywhere and it didn't matter about the mess. They were great. And they always, my mum and dad, both of them always just encouraged me and my sister to have a go at stuff. And it doesn't really matter if it doesn't turn out great, because that, you know, you have to have a go and see what happens. And that's how you learn new things, new mediums. So I grew up with all of that sort of stuff in the house. And my mum kind of introduced me to sewing, because she always used to make any of our fancy dress day outfits or like school play outfits, that kind of thing. She'd take us around the charity shops and see what we could buy and kind of cobble together into a costume. And then I loved doing art all the way through school, did art GCSE, and then sort of fell out of love with it really, or not so much out of love, but when I was doing my A-levels and went off to uni, you just get so busy with other things, you don't make as much time for your creative hobbies as you would like to. So I was sort of doing like colouring books or like a bit of drawing in the park here and there, and then got quite unwell and returned back to it then, because I didn't have as much energy as I was used to having. And it was nice to just sort of sit in bed and do some sort of creative things, like do some knitting. My nanny taught me how to knit, so that was really nice to just sit in bed and knit, and like, yeah, just kind of, it's a nice way to explore what's going on in your life without necessarily realizing that you're doing it, I think.
Yeah, there's definitely room in creativity for expression, and that can be in so many different forms. So as you say, different hobbies and things that kind of have been throughout your life, and then it's like whenever you feel the need for it again, it comes back, and you never know how it's going to be. There's no set rules as to how we express ourselves.
Exactly. And I've found that in different points of my life, I've preferred like different creative outlets. Like I used to really love painting. I've fallen out of love with that a little bit. I have bought a new set of paints, but I've been too scared to try them yet. So I'm going to be brave and do that at some point. But yeah, I think like depending on where you are in your life and like what you enjoy doing, you definitely prefer different mediums and stuff.
So have you always been conscious of your impact on the environment and how that also impacts you?
Yeah, I'd say in a sense, I was always brought up to not waste and like eat everything on your plate. And obviously, like I was saying with my mum taking us around the charity shops a lot, some of that was a necessity, just in terms of like things aren't cheap. And sometimes if you know your kid's only going to wear something once, you're not going to go and spend a load of money on it. You are just going to go and get something secondhand, which is a good thing to do. So we were sort of, me and my sister were brought up in that sort of environment of like definitely be mindful of how you live. But then it wasn't until I went to college and I got involved with Amnesty and Greenpeace and those types of organizations, I started to read a bit more then about things you can do as an individual that can actually make quite a big difference. Like, I think sometimes you can feel a bit like it's too big of an issue, so what difference can I make? And then, yeah, like as an adult now, I'm 27. I'd say since I was about 20, that's when I've become really focused in like, okay, what tangible changes can I make today that are going to have a lasting impact, and what's easy for me to pick up that's not going to become a difficult habit, like something, oh, I've got to maintain this, it's going to be really difficult, we're not going to remember. So yeah, I'd say like in a sense I've always had that background kind of thought going on, but it's become like a main piece of who I am in the last like 5 or 7 years.
Oh, brilliant. So do you have any tips actually for little things that we can all do to be more mindful and conscious of what impact we're having and be a bit more sustainable?
Yeah, I'd say an easy one is to just, every time you're about to buy something, ask yourself, do you need it? And it sounds like a simple thing. And of course, I'm not saying like don't treat yourself and don't buy things that you don't need, because I do it all the time. But it can be like a case of like, I've got one of mine on. Like, nobody needs a scrunchie, do they? That's not an essential item. Nobody needs that. And nobody needs stationery, really. It's nice to have nice stationery, and it can help us stay accountable and like achieve our goals and that sort of thing and stay focused, but it's not necessary. So I always think like, in terms of particularly like clothes and food shopping, fast fashion can suck you in quite a lot because it's so cheap and you feel like you're getting a good deal. So it's easy to go, oh well, that's only £10, I'll just get it. Or, oh well, that's that. So I think it's just being conscious of what you're using, and the same with food. Food waste is a big problem. So it's a case of, before you go and do your food shopping, just have a quick check of what's in your fridge, plan out some meals in your mind, and then you don't have to go into the shop and think, oh, do I need that? I'll just get it anyway and make sure, oh, I'll grab this because it might be useful. You know, it's just a case of like, I'm not sure, like just being mindful in your everyday and being conscious of what you're using.
Yeah, I mean, I've always, as you're probably aware, and a lot of people who watch my channel, I'm always thinking about nature and the environment, and well, basically elemental astrologer. So it's always a case of, well, yeah, what have we got within us, and what have we got within nature, and how can we balance that? Because actually, the same components of what makes up nature is within our bodies as well.
Exactly.
So if the world is
it's really important not to distinguish ourselves from nature. It's like, we are part of it. It's really important not to think of like the environment as a separate habitat to where we live.
Yeah.
And like, oh, that's different to me. Like, my lifestyle doesn't affect that because it's separate. Like, I always find it really, not weird, but like strange when people say, oh, I love being in nature, or I love being like, I love the environment. Like, well, yeah, that's your home.
You are nature.
You
Wake
are,
up.
exactly. Yeah. So yeah, I think it's just a case of realizing and kind of living in that kind of balance, and being aware that the choices you make do have an effect on everything, as scary as that sounds. It's like, we are all part of the same ecosystem. We might look completely different to plants and animals and things, but we do share the home with them, and we're responsible for it.
Oh, that's good. The last part of your sentence is kind of missing though, so I'm guessing that's yeah, I'm sure you'll tell us, Lois.
Yeah, I'm sure she'll fill in the gaps.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's other really easy swaps that you can make as well.
Small changes. Yeah, small changes do add up, don't they?
Exactly. I always say no one can do everything, but everyone can do something. And I think as long as you're being mindful of what something you could look to do, like they all do slowly add up. Like I've swapped to solid shampoo, and I go to my local refill shop for things like rice and pasta and grains and things. And if you've got those resources near to you, it's such a great thing to take advantage of. because it's such a small change, and a lot of the times those refill shops are cheaper than going to the supermarket, so you are benefiting the planet, you're living more in balance, but you're also saving yourself some money, so
yeah, definitely. Something I've started recently is I always get really annoyed of having although I love my tote bags, I sell some as well.
I love my tote bags.
Yeah. Feel free, anybody, to have a little look at my tote bags and stuff. Actually, I've got one here if anybody would like to have a quick peek. This is just for Gemini season because I'm Gemini, but
oh, nice.
Kind of get the idea. But that wasn't the point. The point was that basically I've just swapped over to using bottles instead of using plastic bottles, because it bugs me that I'm using unnecessary plastic.
Exactly.
And I wanted more waterproof bag, so I thought, well, actually the waterproof bag that I was buying has space on the side, so I can bring a couple of these with me rather than having to use any plastic in what I'm doing anyway. So it's just like, right, little things actually do add up, and you realize, oh, it tastes so much better out of the stainless steel. It's cleaner. And I'm not getting microplastics in my body, which I don't need.
And you're not piling up plastic bottles every week, or like whenever I get my friends' cars, they're always full of plastic bottles just hanging around. Oh yeah, I swapped to a Chili's bottle when I was 19, and I'm 27 now, and I've still got the same one. It is still going strong. It's got stickers all over it. Like, I think things like that, they can be a little expensive initially. Like, they do retail for a higher price than obviously a plastic water bottle is going to cost you, but you only have to buy that once.
Yeah.
And then you've got it for potentially for forever. So yeah.
I mean, I've dropped mine in the woods and stuff. Yeah, I've dropped mine in the woods and stuff. So it's got like tiny scratches from brambles. But apart from that, it's perfect as well. It's perfect condition. But it's gone through so much.
I think when they get a bit knackered, it kind of gives them a bit of charm. Like, it's lived a life, it's been out with you, it's, you know, it's got a bit of character to it now.
Yeah.
Which I think is nice, and like, it's also a good excuse to buy stickers because you can cover the scratches up with stickers.
Ooh, yes.
Which is what I've done.
I do actually like some of your products that I keep wanting to buy more of, and I'm sure this might come out again at Christmas, but I've only got a little bit left. So we've got a sweet ginger one, which that's my favourite one. I love that.
Yeah.
And then you've also got a jasmine and mandarin one, which is lovely. Look at that rose shape.
That was a new size that I did for that update, like a little trial size. So I'm sure you know, I use 100% recycled wax in my wax melts. And that was born out of a creative hobby that I started picking up. I want to say during the first lockdown, I started making my own wax melts, but it might have been before that, because I just realised every time you burn a candle, there's always like a good wedge of wax left in the bottom that the wick won't always burn. So I started just kind of saving it up, and I thought, I wonder if you can just recycle that and turn it into wax melts. So I had a go, and they turned out really well. It took a bit of trial and error to get the balance right of the wax to the fragrance ratio. Like, the first few I made didn't smell very strong, and then the next lot I put so much oil in they didn't set, which is like gloopy. But because wax can be recycled, I just melted it down and had another go. Like, it was it's a good hobby to try if you're scared of like things going wrong, because you can just keep going with it. Like, it doesn't work, melt it down again, have another go, it still doesn't work, melt it again. So yeah, and then I thought, well, I wonder whether that's something I could add to my shop. When I had the little idea of my business, I thought, I wonder whether I could sell them, because wax is infinitely recyclable, and it's just a nice way to use up something that would have ordinarily gone into landfill.
Oh, what does Lois say? Better to use up unsustainable or plastic items we already own than to add to wastage. It already exists, so it's use it, but just don't repurchase. I agree with that as well.
If you're looking to swap to a plastic-free alternative, obviously use up what you already have. Don't just throw it in the bin because it's not sustainable. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so where did the name Bean and Bloom come from?
I get asked this a lot because I know it's a little bit unusual. So I have a cat. I'm obsessed with cats. I love my cats so much. That's
Tina,
a
isn't
picture of
she?
her up there somewhere. It's backwards. There she is.
I can't really see it, unfortunately.
No, but she's up there.
Okay.
I love my cat, and obviously cats have the little toe beans. So that's the bean, is my cat.
Oh.
And the bloom sort of represents me, because I'm really like passionate and interested in growth. I think growth is something that we can do every day without even really being conscious of it. But you should never miss an opportunity for growth, even if it's small, so small. Like somebody saying, "Do you want to just help me with dinner?" Or "Do you want to wash up while I dry up?" You might learn something from them during that. Everything that you do every day is growth. So that's where the bloom came from. It's sort of like how I aim to live. It's just sort of blooming.
Oh, I love that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's something that I've kind of thought of. I mean, I'm once an astrologer, always an astrologer. So there's a there's a thing that is there's a thing that also a lot of people within the astrology community will say is as above, so below, as within, so without. So the piece that we're kind of covering here is the as within, so without, because it's remembering that we are nature, but also nature is part of the world around us. And if we respect the balance, as you were saying, it's kind of a case of, well, we're nurturing what's growing within us, but we're also nurturing what's growing around us as well. Whether you do any gardening or not is irrelevant in that respect, although that all helps for the sustainability of say whether it's crops, whether it's a few flowers here and there to make things look better, and in turn you feel better. It's the trees that give us the oxygen. It's the kind of as you said, it's like 70% water in the earth, and there's 70% water in us. So that in itself is kind of like, we already know this. We already know how to be within nature. It's kind of remembrance, and that's kind of what I feel Cancer season's all about. It's the remembrance of who we are, and the remembrance of going with the flow and working with the moon, which actually rules the sign of Cancer. So it's kind of
definitely. I always say, when people say like, "Oh, why are you so passionate about this? Why do you talk about it so much?" I always say, like, if you're not interested in like global warming or the environment or plastic pollution or anything like that, just boiling it down to a selfish reason, it benefits you to live more sustainably. And I'm sure you care about yourself, because we all do. So just purely from a selfish standpoint, you will feel better if you live sustainably. You'll feel more balanced. You'll feel more well in yourself. Your wallet will thank you. So it all connects. Like, it's, why wouldn't you?
But then again, if also if emotion is kind of, if the tides and the moon actually affects the tides, and if the tides affect the moon, it also affects the emotion within us. And if emotion is energy, emotion, we kind of got that sort of energy transfer. And if we look at like abundance in the world, abundance is basically energy, whether that's money, whether it's resources, or whether it's the time you give to someone, or the time you give back. Those moments, we can't. If we miss those opportunities, we miss a chance to grow, as you're kind of alluding to earlier. It's kind of it's all one in the same.
It is, exactly. I think it's like, people talk a lot and they throw sustainability as a word around, and it kind of gets used for all sorts of things, but the kind of point it boils down to is living in balance with everything. It's that interconnectedness, like you were saying, and realizing that your actions affect everything around you, but also you are affected by everything around you. So you want everything around you to be as well as it can be.
I forgot to say, if you don't mind me saying what your big three are. Do you mind me saying your astrological sign? Okay, so we actually have a Pisces moon today, and you're a Pisces sun. So it's kind of, I didn't plan that part. Just like, so it'd be like a little, it's like a little new moon, or a sort of a point for you to make more opportunities. Which is kind of cool.
Like that.
So also you have an Aquarius moon, so sort of like your behaviors and your sort of internal balance and value system to some extent is got that Aquarian way. So it's kind of about humanitarianism. It's about the community, and sort of can be a bit quirky, but it's like out out there in some respects. It's sort of,
that's how I would describe myself.
it's like inventions and new perspectives and talking about those. So it's kind of cool in a way that your whole business is allowing you to.
I definitely resonate with that. Yeah, I like just kind of making things up as I go and trialing it and seeing what happens and inventing things.
And you're Leo rising as well, so it's kind of, you've got that fire in you to actually do the things that you say and enact the behaviours that you want to. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah, that is cool. I like that a lot.
Was there anything else I wanted to ask you? How long have we been here? Oh, we've been only 20 minutes. So how do you manifest your goals and things that you want to achieve within your life or your business? How do you go about it?
So usually when I've got an idea for something, my usual first step is to just take a step back and go, is that achievable, or are you being slightly mad? And just have a little look. I love a plan, so I'll sit and write things down and plan and think, is this achievable right now, or is this something for the future? Because I've got lots of things I want to do, but it's like now isn't necessarily the right time. So I'll sit and have a think about what resources do I need, what time do I need, what kind of energy do I need for this? And if I think this is something that I could be doing right now, I'll usually, like, I have in my bullet journal like a little goals page, and I'll think about like, what are the rewards from this? What kind of gratitude will I get from this, from enacting it? And just think about how that particular goal is going to help me become like a more realized version of myself. So recently I made quite a big decision to change my degree program, even though I'd already put quite a lot of time into the one I was doing health and social care. I was just sort of looking at where I want to be in a few years and thinking, does this actually fit with the version of myself that I see in a few years or not? And if it doesn't, then is there necessarily any sense in putting more energy and more time into something that doesn't fit with the version of myself that I see? And so I changed my degree course, which is a big choice to make, but I didn't take it lightly, and sat and thought, actually, no, this new direction feels so much more aligned with who I see myself in the future and like how I see myself now. And yeah, just sort of, I'm a very practical person, but I'm very emotional as well. And I tend to let how I feel about something inform decisions that I make.
Well, Pisces is a water sign as well. So yeah, it's drawing on the emotions and acting from your heart more than your head sometimes.
That's it. Yeah.
But I think that's a beautiful way to be. I actually have my Venus, which is kind of my values and my love language, I guess, in Cancer anyway. So I kind of I'm on that watery side as well. What did Alicia say here? She has corrected a typo. She said she wishes that she could do some of what you're doing basically and charge in true Ram stance. Yeah, she's got Aries in her chart, so yeah, hence why she's talking about a Ram. Oh, what's this? Oh, how lovely! But you are inspiring and actually following your passions, because you've said yourself that you're quite multi-passionate and you do have a lot of talents and interests, and to actually be brave enough to follow things that you really want to do, it is an inspiration. It's an inspiring to other people. And, yeah.
Thank you guys. That really means a lot, because I think I've had a bit of a funny couple of years. My health's been really difficult, and I think it really made me just think, like, why am I doing things if I don't enjoy it? Like, why? Yeah. What is the point when I have such limited energy as it is? Just for anybody who doesn't know, I've got fibromyalgia, so I struggle a lot with energy levels and pain. Like, even doing normal things like walking or making a cup of tea, things like that are painful. So I think, like, why am I putting energy and, experiencing pain in things that I don't enjoy and that I don't feel like I'm getting any benefit from? And that's sort of where the sustainability comes in as well, because I just think like everything that I do, I want to make sure it's the most positive that it can be.
Definitely. Yeah, I feel you on the what's the word? I said I wasn't going to lose my words today. Sort of like health and well-being side of things. It's kind of as somebody with inflammatory bowel disease, I get that. Sort of looking at your energy, and there's this theory called spoon theory, which says that basically you start off with
spoon theory.
Yeah, if you start off with about 9 to, I can't remember, it's 9 or 12 spoons or whatever, those are little increments of energy, and the idea being that actually once they're all used up, you don't have any more to give. So it's a case of, well, you have to kind of work out ways of maintaining that, and why not, as you say, do things that you enjoy. So yeah, it's lovely.
Yeah, something that, like, going back to when you were talking about goals, I always, when I'm looking at my goals, like you were saying before, I always like to think about where do I place value, and the spoon theory really fits into that as well, because it's like, right, I can use 5 spoons on this or 2 spoons on this, but which thing has more value to me? Would I rather use up loads of my spoons doing this one thing because it has lots of value, or is it better to do a few little things and get some value from that?
I'm just thinking of Tesco, every little helps. But actually in life it kind of makes sense. It's kind of
it does.
All the little things that you do in life do add.
Yeah, they do. And it's the same again with living more sustainably. It's easy to think that a small thing doesn't make any difference, but it really does.
Oh yeah, can you tell me a little bit more about your course? So what's the name of your course?
Absolutely. So I am in October, I'm starting a degree in design and innovation, and then I've opted to do environmentalism alongside it because I think they'll fit in really nicely together. So I'm starting that in October, and it will be a mixture of design-based modules and environmental-based modules. And over the summer, to sort of prepare me for the course, I'm doing a diploma in sustainable living. So I'm doing that through, I think it's called the Centre of Excellence. So I've paid for that course, and I'm about 2 modules in at the moment. And I'm really enjoying it. I'm learning so much from it that I wasn't aware of, like things like if you swap all of your light bulbs to energy efficient bulbs, you'll save like 80% on your emissions, which is huge. Like you wouldn't think something like a light bulb would make that much of a difference, but it does. And if you take, is it £2 less on a flight if you fly more than 3 times a year, if your suitcase is £2 lighter, you save like 60% on the fuel emissions or something if everybody did it. So it's like just things like that. And then so the next modules that I'm going to be covering are things like growing your own veg, making your own cleaning products that don't, pump the water full of chemicals, that type of thing. And then eventually I'm building it up to having a Patreon community attached to my business where I will share these easy swaps with people. So that's something that I'm hoping to launch in January.
Oh, amazing. Yeah, I'd definitely be interested in the whole cleaning products and things. I mean, on seeing something that Lois was talking about, I'm not worried about talking about sort of periods and what I call moon time, basically. I'm not fussed about that. That's so yeah, I'm thinking of making the swap to the flow ones, the bamboo ones, because I think that actually having sanitary products that are more sustainable is a lot better for us, because we waste so much, and it obviously doesn't get rid of it in landfill so well, and it's kind of
and it's better for your body as well. So I used to work for cervical screening in Wales, and it's a lot better for your body to use these sustainable products because the disposable ones, the plastic based ones, are full of preservatives and odor eliminators, and these chemicals actually really irritate the pH balance of your womb, so it's contributing to your pain by using these products. So it's a lot better for you to use the sustainable alternatives.
Yeah, I could have a whole rant on the pharmaceutical industry, but I won't. Okay. So we've got votes to have your Patreon. It's a good thing.
So I wanted to launch it for August because it's the 1-year anniversary of my business in August, but I just thought I've just moved house, like I would be rushing it, like is this necessarily the right time? And as much as I would love to do it now, the answer is no, it is not the right time. So I was thinking January might be a good time because everybody likes to go into a new year with new habits and not necessarily resolutions, because I don't strictly believe in that. But like everybody likes to go into a new year with like new goals and that type of thing. So I thought it might be a nice time to do it.
Yeah. And also January is a Capricorn season anyway, and Capricorn's about like ambition and leaving a legacy. So if that's the case, it's a case of, well, you're going to attract lots of people that are Capricorn, or a lot of people that actually have those aligned goals. So,
yeah,
that could work quite well.
Yeah, so that's the goal at the moment. That's my like major goal that I'm working towards at the minute. So I'll be able to share what I'm learning with my diploma, and when I'll start my degree by then. So I'll be able to share that as well through the Patreon. So it'll be called the Swaptimist podcast. So it'll be about like making optimistic swaps and like the little things that you can do.
Cool.
So you got a little bit of secret information there from me.
Yes, you heard it first on the Lunar Pumpkin YouTube channel.
Yeah, and then there'll be some other little bits that come along with it, different tiers and things, but I'll share all of that at a later date.
Oh, what does Lois say? Sustainable swaps are almost always a quality upgrade too, and often can find things made by small and independent businesses, which she loves, of course, because our Lois does gift boxes with lots of small businesses.
And I think the thing is, when items are made for convenience and made quickly, they won't last a long time, because they aren't made with the time and the care to last a long time. So buying cheap isn't always buying smart. Sometimes it makes more sense to buy things which are a little bit more expensive, because you will get the quality and the durability out of them.
What was this?
Alicia's comment. She was like, "Oh, you should have a really honest bit in your Patreon called Spill the Beans, because it's been in bloom."
That's really cool. I like that idea, actually. Well, yeah, you and I both love puns, and Alicia does as well.
Yeah, and I'm a very honest, open person naturally. I don't think there's anything really that I won't talk about. So yeah, maybe I will take her up on that suggestion.
Cute. Oh, have you got any ideas for businesses for like eco packaging, or any supplies you'd like to talk about? Or
So I get all of my packaging, all of the bits that I don't make, I get from either Happy Pack or EcoCraft. And I particularly recommend EcoCraft because they have such a huge range on there. There's just about every size of paper, like cello bag, everything that you could think of. So I get everything from there. All of my business cards and my thank you cards are all printed on recycled card, which I get from there. And I was a little worried about the printing quality with it being recycled. I thought, is it going to come out a bit dull or like a little bit grainy? But I'm really happy with it. I think it looks lovely. And I get, when you order wax melts from me, you get like a little safety slip that's printed on this. It's called Hairy Manila. It's like this like fuzzy grey recycled card, and that's the most sustainable one you can get because it isn't bleached or dyed or anything like that. And I think it fits quite nicely with my branding because it is that kind of grainy, natural sort of vibe. Yeah, EcoCraft.
Yeah, I use them as well for packaging, but also the things that I buy, like my self-care notepad is only recycled paper as well, but the quality, as you say, is still really good on recycled paper, so I don't think it matters.
No, I think it's something that little by little people will have to start letting go of like thinking of a certain idea of what quality looks like. Because I think we've got this idea, lots of things like paper products will come with a plastic coating on them to make them feel nicer, which it just isn't necessary. It's not a necessary thing. And I think, it's something that bit by bit people need to sort of reshape their idea of what quality is and what luxury is and that type of thing. Because I think things which are made from recycled materials can be just as nice, if not nicer, as things made from virgin materials.
Oh, we've got a question from Lois here.
Recommendations of the most sustainable box fillers. So I currently don't use any, but the best things that I've sort of researched and looked into is either shredding paper that you've already got, like magazines, like catalogs, brochures, anything like that, shredding it and scrunching it so you get that kind of scrunched, shredded paper. You can do that yourself for free because we all have paper lying around. Or I think you can buy bags of it already shredded. Or it's called waffle paper, that paper that you stretch out and it has all the holes in. I have a bit of a weird phobia of it, so I don't use it.
Oh, okay. I was just thinking of our friend. I was thinking of Alicia when you said waffle because she loves to waffle on.
She does. Yeah, that's a good alternative because the waffle paper, you can stretch it out to cover breakables and it'll keep them protected, but you can also bunch it up to fill the box, so that's good because it's versatile.
Okay, yeah.
And then I always encourage people to make the packaging themselves that they can do if that's an option for your type of business. So like my tags are made from recycled materials. I bought a bulk pack of recycled eco craft card, and it was so cheap. And then I just sit when I'm watching telly and cut that up into little rectangles, stick my stickers on, and that's all plastic free and recycled. And then I cut up, as you know, my scrunchies come with the brown tag and then the coloured tag on the other side. The coloured tag is from scraps of craft paper that I've had lying around from making birthday cards or wrapping paper or other small business packaging. I save all of that sort of stuff and reuse it. Oh, Lewis's question. I don't actually know too much about the biodegradable peanuts. The only thing that I do know is when they say biodegradable, that might still mean that it takes like 100 years. All they're telling you is that it does biodegrade. So I always say to people, look into it, look into the small print, because a lot of the time when things say biodegradable, they don't mean like it'll be gone in a month. It might still take a really, really long time.
Okay. I didn't know that.
So yeah, it's a kind of greenwashing thing that companies have really jumped on recently. They love to slap that label on the front saying, "Oh, this is biodegradable." But then when you actually go onto their website and look into it, or you request information, it'll say biodegrades between 50 and 100 years, which is like, that doesn't count.
Oh, okay. I think that's what someone we know, Gemma, uses. Ones that dissolve in water. Yeah.
They're a good option because they are made from natural materials anyway, so you're not harming the water by dissolving those.
Oh, they obviously work then. From what Lois has said.
Also, just as a little silly thing, if you wet the ends and stick them together, you can use them to build stuff.
Eco Lego.
Yeah, pretty much. You can wet the ends and then they stick, and you can make houses and shapes and stuff out of them.
Oh, you have to do some and show us for a little joke at some point. It'd be good fun. I don't think there was anything much more I wanted to ask you, but is there anything you want to share? Anything that you're working on that you'd like people to know about? Or
nothing sort of immediately springs to mind. I'm working on a new collection at the moment. So that will be coming out for the 1st of August for my shop birthday. So that will be a whole new range. So there'll be new wax melts, new scrunchies, I think some new stickers. I'm going to be restocking the Aubrey pads, the A6 ones.
Yay!
And hopefully, if my test on Monday goes well, I will also have the first ever recycled pencil cases in the shop. So fingers crossed. Because I had some really, really nice fabrics that I got in my job lots of recycled fabric. So which I get from Gumtree or Vinted or just a charity shop, wherever. Sometimes I don't always know what fabric I'm going to get in those. And I had some lovely ones, but they were printed really big. So they wouldn't have worked on a scrunchie because you'd lose the pattern. It would be too small on a scrunchie. So I was thinking, okay, well, these fabrics are gorgeous. What can I make that's recycled but still big enough to show off the beautiful pattern? So fingers crossed, the pencil cases will be coming in August, and then towards Christmas, I will have the first tote bags, recycled tote bags.
Oh, wow. Oh, I remember I sent you some material
Fingers
as well,
crossed.
and you said one might become a pencil case at some point. Do you remember? Was it blue?
Yeah, it's in my
Would that be
stash. Which way is it? These purple tubs here. They've got fabric in them. And yours is in there. So the velvet thing that you sent me, I'm going to use that, I think, as an overlay on some other fabric to make a really nice velvet scrunchie. And then, yeah, the other piece, I think that might be a pencil case or two, depending on how much I can get out of it.
Cool. Oh, obviously there's some people that love your snail mail that you did. So hence the we want more snails. In case anyone's wondering what it is.
Yeah, I did a snail mail sale when I moved house because I didn't know how long it would take for me to get orders out. So I did quite a good discount, but then obviously the catch was it might take 3 weeks, 4 weeks to reach you. And I did the exclusive snail mail postcard with it. So yeah, I might make her into some sort of permanent item, maybe.
She is cute.
Thank you.
Oh, what's this? Oh, whippet fabric, eh?
Lois, I want to message you about that because so I can make 2 pencil cases and a cushion cover out of it. But I wasn't sure if you wanted those back again, like returned to you. I'm sure you do. But I'll message you about it after anyway.
What's this? Bottle bags. What's a bottle bag?
Oh, like for putting gifts in.
Oh, right.
Is that what you mean?
I think
that's what you mean. I have got a pattern for like gift bags. I haven't quite been brave enough to try that one yet.
Oh, I guess you could do them with like a drawstring or something at the top. Is that kind of thing? Oh, I see.
Yeah, like reusable gift wrap. At the moment, when I do presents to people, I use craft paper, just brown craft paper, and then I put ribbon around it just to jazz it up a bit. But yeah, I like the idea of using fabric reusable gift wrap as well. So it's something that I'm definitely going to look into. Hopefully.
Oh, do EcoCraft do sticker paper?
Yes, they do.
Find out. Oh, they do. Amazing. That's where I'm going to get it from. Cool.
Yeah, it's on my wish list, the silhouette machine, so that I can start doing stickers. Because at the moment, I outsource mine.
Yeah, I have an idea of some things I want to do and put in stickers. So I was just checking because I didn't want to go and make things that weren't quite so sustainable just because I want them. That makes sense.
Exactly.
I want to go with everything else.
What I was saying at the start. Do I need this? And if the answer is not strictly no, then yeah, you wait a little while, you do your research, and you find the best option. So yeah, I've had my eyes on their sticker paper for ages.
Cool.
They've got sustainable like plastic-free sticker paper, but then they also have an option that's made from recycled materials, which I think is really cool. Like to be able to have recycled stickers.
Decisions. Which to go for.
Also, I should just say as well, almost everything they offer a sample of, so you can order just like one of something instead of having to buy a pack of 50. You can order samples, which I think is really nice because not everywhere does that, and it gives you the opportunity to do a couple of test goes and see what works best.
Yeah. Well, it's been absolutely lovely talking to you today, Esme, and if you want to stick around, we can have a little debrief afterwards, by all means do so, but I think we'll wrap up here then. Thank you so much, and thanks for joining us. It's been really lovely conversation.
Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you, Emily.
Thank you. Bye.